Right then, so let's get into the actual replay. Now, even though this obviously was a earpiece kind of coaching session, like I want the VOD more so to be going over kind of what we already covered while you were playing and why. Now that we can, break it down, considering we have the time to, and then also, what you could have done better. So,
Right now.
what's that?
I've got no card out right now.
Okay, that's good. Right, so one of the first actual things when you get into lane, which you do kind of walk up here, but then also kind of just hover around this area. There's no reason to kind of move further back. Like if you sit, say here, like you'll get full coverage of these side brushes, just in case they want to try and late invade through mid, and it's just better, And also, they might stand there too. You can have a nice little dance battle. Who knows, like so. So yeah, so this was into a Vlad. Now, one of the main things you always want to kind of think of when you're breaking down if you win or lose the matchup is at what point in the game are you strong as Irelia?
I
Like,
think
where are you at your
mid game.
strongest?
Mid game.
Yeah, so
Like like early into mid
yeah,
game.
early to mid. Yeah, like it depends how you manage your stacks and how you do that.
Straight after my
Yeah,
obviously big spikes
obviously on like
before
big spikes,
after the
like
walk and
uh-huh.
yeah, just avoid it.
Obviously, your spikes become less and less as the game goes on because they buy resistances. They they build items against you. So there can be situations where they do kind of counter your later on spikes, so they're not as big. But you'll still be able to do things if you're snowballing like we were in this game. Like there's still always things that we can do. Now they didn't really build any resistances, hard resistances against you this game. But yeah. Now, yeah, so now we've established when you're strong. When is Vladimir strong? When is he at his strongest?
Probably 3, 4 items.
Yeah, so later on into the game. Um
Five plus
around
plus.
things like yeah, I mean a bit earlier than that depending on the Vlad. Like it is one and two items, they will give him some power, especially if you mess up and kind of group in an area where he can just kind of go all in on you. But overall, yeah, his strongest point of the game is going to be later on into the game, where you need to kind of be a bit wary of him. Now, one of the things that you want to do, again, actually, you tell me. So now we've already evaluated that. How do you think you should play into Vlad to abuse him?
I'm trying to solo kill him if I can, but if I
Okay.
can't, I need to push in and extend my lead somewhere else.
Okay. So one of the biggest things when you're playing into Vlad is to push in and extend your lead as much as possible. Now, what do you think the reason behind that is? What do you think
He's
he?
always going to be more powerful than me late game, so he's
Okay.
got that insurance policy. So I need to make sure that we don't get to that stage in the game.
Okay. So have you ever played Vladimir either?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the best.
Okay.
I watch Elite 500,
Okay.
if that helps.
So one of the big things with Vlad that not many people really abuse is the fact that the reason you can permanently push him in and rotate is because his wave clear is really bad. Like really bad. Like it's gonna take him two, if not three, rotations, including his E, in order to clear the wave. I actually think in the mid game it still takes two E's for him to clear the wave, and his E is on a 13-second cooldown. So that means that if he uses his initial E to start clearing the wave, he's then actually going to have to wait another 13 seconds before he can use his E again. Otherwise, and that's just not feasible for forcing the wave back because he can't really do that fast. Like he can't go, okay, I'm going to instantly E the wave twice because it doesn't allow. And you can't really put points into E in order to improve his wave clear early because if you put more points into your E, you lose a lot of points out of your Q, which is kind of your bread and butter ability. So once he does start putting points into his E from levels 8 plus, then that's when he starts ramping up. So your window to just abuse him as much as possible is pre-level 8. But then, even after level 8, if you do get a kill early or two, you can still do a lot. But yeah. So that's kind of one of the things you wanna ask yourself when you are actually approaching a lane is when am I strong? When are they strong? What do I need to be careful of? And in this game, I think we will touch quite a bit on the kind of where you were positioning in the lane. Now this is fine. You don't really want to start putting a massive amount into the wave straight away because you have plenty of wave clear anyway. Now if you didn't have as much wave clear or your wave clear was heavily gated by mana, then you'd have to layer some minions down, but you don't really need to do that as much on Irelia. Now one of the big things though is that we are taking these kind of trades and we're kind of walking all the way back in a way. So right here, we use one of the farm minions in order to get a stack, you know? So what we could have done here is we could have used one of the, say this minion. So right now, we know that later on into the lane, if we're stacking on these and then we're coming back to stack this, we're letting up a lot of pressure for no good reason. Because we're choosing to go on these ones instead of just getting this one down and then using it.
I chose the further one because I knew I could get an auto for free off it.
Yeah, but we could do that anyway with more stacks, and then we could potentially all in him. So like,
Are you thinking that he's gonna walk up there anyway because he's bad?
well, right here, like, why would he potentially walk up?
Farm.
Yeah, I mean, there's farm available, and there is first minions, so he's probably going to walk up to them, and he does just kind of no brain on this. But this kind of one of the things to Aurelia, because you can kill minions so quick, you end up in a position where you have a much more downtime in the wave than what he does, right? So right here, auto this, Q, 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 and then just jump on him. Because what do you think happens to him if you jump on him here?
Wait,
What's up?
he just gets run down.
Okay, so yeah. And then what's going to happen when he gets run down? These are still full HP. No, I mean, these casters are still full HP.
Then I start setting those up.
They do all the damage in this lane. And what is he looking at right now in this lane? What is his focus on?
Wait, I'm confused.
So what is Vladimir focusing on in this picture? Okay, yeah,
Oh, he's running now.
yeah. But right here, there's 3 minions that are gonna go low. If you just run him down in that situation, he's gonna lose them because as long as you don't hit these back ones, they're gonna keep damaging these. So what you can actually do is you can get this down. Yeah.
So it doesn't actually change my wave by that much.
No, no, no. I mean, not really. I mean, you're just going to deny him a lot. So it's his early aggression that you want to go for because he's got these to farm. So if we just wait a little second longer, auto this one, Q it, Q to this one, and then just jump on him. We're not going to have 5 stacks, unfortunately, but these 3 are going to stay alive and we can do a big chunk of damage to him. And then we can back out and then we can threaten him again. So here we get some autos, great, and look at him, he's just autoing this minion. That's all he's doing. See, now we get 5 stacks, and look how much damage we do to him. Like,
Yeah, he was out of range initially, so I faked and then I ran back.
yeah. So we do, like, considerable amounts of damage to him, and now it's set up, so now what we're looking to do again is just kind of burn these down. Now, one of the big things that we should have been looking to do here is potentially look to start pushing on this one. Now, we don't really have any real threat from the enemy jungle just yet, purely because Vladimir's too low. And even when Vladimir gets level 2, they've got no CC. There's Vladimir and Lee Sin. They've got no CC to really set up a gank that's going to be substantial on you. If you die to an early gank from Lee Sin, like, then the champion isn't for you, honestly. Like, purely because if he doesn't land his Q, then he's going to do very little damage to you. And then you just kill Vlad and him too. So right here, what we could have actually looked to do is after this trade, so here we could have looked to start layering these down so that we can get as like stacks instantly. So we could even walk in, try and pressure him. Like maybe get a few autos on these ones, walk back, and then we can kind of layer these down and just basically set the wave up so you can 5 stack and jump on him, if that makes sense. Especially considering you're about to hit level 6, but level 2, sorry. But he's also going to keep tunnel vision on these minions. So right here, see? Like, we queued this minion. We autoed this minion. That was an opportunity we could have queued it and then got onto him.
Watch the future Chovy VODs.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Chovy's
Really, and
amazing.
he doesn't really go for level 1 fights. He sets level 1 wave up for level 2.
I mean, that's good too, but it also depends who you're playing into, right? Like, if you have the ability to go for level 1 fights, then great. Like if the option is there because he's playing bad, like look at him, he just fully walked up to this. Like he didn't even hesitate.
He could be walking towards the bot side of his lane, so I don't have as much agency, you know.
I mean well, I mean one of the problems were that we.
Look where I'm standing, right? He needs to walk straight to like bot river.
What do you mean? Sorry.
No, like he should be leaning towards bot river there.
Oh
Because
yeah, I mean, but I mean,
bot side.
you can't really count on tethering in Goldie though. Like most players in Goldie probably don't even know what tethering is. So it's it's if they do then
Is
great,
that
but
what it's called?
tethering, yeah. So it's when you position to a certain way. So say for example, let's move him to here. He's a ranged user, so he automatically gets kind of. I mean, not into Irelia. So if he was ranged into like a different ranged laner that didn't have the mobility to get on top of him, and he was say stood here, that's so that he stood as far away as the laner as possible, but he can still use autos and Qs. Like maybe if he say comes in. So if he's kind of wiggling in and out, he can wiggle down, maybe auto U, Q U, and then get out. So yeah, like where you position, like if you're positioning in lane, based on where the enemy is positioning, then that's tethering.
Okay,
Because
so tethering stops you from like because if they try to trade on you while you're tethering, then they just tank all the minions.
that too, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're playing a melee into a ranged matchup, usually they can go aggressive on you. So, say this was an even wave here, and you say walk up to hit this one, they can actually, from outside of your minion range, they can do some damage to you and walk back instantly, and the minion aggro doesn't really get affected. I mean, they do kind of jitter a little bit, but you can position in a way that it doesn't actually affect you. So yeah, that's kind of where the range laners kind of come into their own in lane. This is why I say, for example, range laners into top laners and make it very, very difficult for those top laners to play lane, because like they can harass them on nearly every minion, and then it'll take either the top laner knowing how to play into a ranged matchup. Most of the kind of big ranged matchups become much easier to deal with at level 6 for a lot of top laners. So, that's kind of one of the points where they can turn the tables. But if they're not safe pre-6 or pre when they can actually bring the game back, and then they're just going to completely ruin it for themselves. So, right then. So let's just go over this again. So yeah, so here now we push this in. Now, when you push a wave in, what are some of the things that you need to be considering what you want to do? I usually nail them down to, say, 3 R's.
Reset, roam, and
Okay.
you really love your tricolor.
I
Reset,
do.
reset, roam, something. You
I
always like the
it get
micro mental.
it gets stuck in your head. I mean, it might
It does.
seem really dumb, but it gets stuck in your head. So, okay,
Got an
2.
ace on the English GCSE.
Oh, true. What do you think is the third one? You can reset roam or what?
No, I have no idea.
So reset roam or rotate.
What's the difference?
Because a rotation would be, say, for example, the easiest way to say is in bot lane. Say if we're playing, say, Caitlyn Morgana bot lane, we're pressuring the turret like crazy, we just get first tower. Like, there wouldn't really be much to describe what you're going to do next, right? Like, whereas rotate, you reset, you go into base, and then you can go and rotate into top lane. You can swap your top lane and bot lane.
So
And
rotation is just
so rotations are more kind of bigger sort of moves, and especially especially when we're talking laning phase. If you were to rotate into another lane, it's the same way as mid lane, right? So this would have been a better example from the start. So say you're playing mid lane and your bot lane have just got tier 1 tower bot. Now they might need to come into mid lane. So they might now need to come into mid lane. And if you're as fed as you are this game, then they're not really going to be able to match your strength. So you could even go into bot lane when you get this fed and potentially 1v2 them. Now,
I
obviously,
really don't bother with rotations unless I know my teammates aren't apes.
so you should always look for rotations because
Well, I feel
Aurelia,
like my team would just won't listen.
yeah, but I mean, it's like if, say, for example, bot lane just come mid for no real reason, then you'd leave. Like, you'd be the one to leave because as soon as more people are in your area, the XP gets reduced significantly for each person. So you would look to just go and catch any solo XP you can, because then if they stay, they're gonna lose a lot. So, so yeah, those are kind of like the three things you want to look for now. So right here, we don't know where Lee started. I think he actually started bot lane, right? So, uh,
If he did, because
yeah, he did. Yeah, he started bot side. So, I mean, it's kind of bad in a way. But we kind of knew where he was in the actual game, right? Um, so yeah, we can just put a ward there. The fact that he doesn't have his chickens means that he hasn't cleared them. Or means that he hasn't actually been into that side of his jungle yet. Now, what do you think is like kind of the mark of the game where you want to start being wary of ganks?
230, 240,
Yeah, roughly. So
depending how good the player is.
yeah, so it depends what jungle you're into. Usually, it's going to be about 3 minutes. But
Depending into you playing safe for the first 3 waves.
yeah, if you're playing into like a Xin or a Lee Sin, stuff like that, like those champions that can just level 2 gank. J4 is an
Yeah, I
abuser.
remember seeing you go J4 level 2 gank bot lane and walk straight into mid lane.
Yeah, like because people don't look at the map, like they don't have any idea. Um, so yeah, so right here we know Lee Sin's in this bottom side. So this was kind of one of the things we did start walking towards the bottom side of our lane, but that's danger zone right now. So based on where their jungler is where danger zone is. So right here now, down below here, this is somewhere you don't want to be. And also if you're here, your Nidalee is also in top side. So if say for example Lee comes from here, you can just spam pings and just run up this way, and Nidalee can maybe even kill him. Like maybe, it depends on how they
Why are
play.
you even like considering teammates helping? This is low elo.
Yeah, but like even though you want to play for yourself, but if you start walking up that way and Lee Sin follows you, Nidalee can just be a meat shield. Like there's no way Vlad can do anything. You can just use this Nidalee for a bag of HP, because Lee Sin's not going to be able to kill you both. So you could wait for him to focus her, and then you just kill him. You know. But so
Is
yeah,
it worth? Is it worth standing behind your standing behind your teammates if there's a Lee or somebody, so that
and
you have to tank the skill shots?
I mean yeah, but I mean you do have to also be careful because Lee Sin can kick, which if you don't know, like say for example, ally here, you here, Lee Sin's here, and he kicks. This original ally will fly backwards to the full range, but you will just get knocked up here.
I'm not dead.
Yeah, and then he just queues onto you, and then you're dead. Yeah, so you have to be careful of that into Lee Sin. But yeah, in general. But yeah, so here, where the wave is in a bad spot, but we do know where Lee is. And this Vladimir is going to find it pretty hard to do anything to us. But this is kind of where we start positioning towards the bottom side of our lane, which you still don't want to do that because we know that's where he is based on where he started and the fact that his chickens aren't dead yet.
I'm sitting back here,
Because we knew he was there.
and that saves us from a guy.
Yeah, I remember we literally said that Lee Sin is there. So, I mean, it works, right? Now, so this is another thing, right? Now, push and pull rule. So I don't know if we've covered this before, but what are the kind of general rules that you want to use when the wave is pushing into them? When your wave is big, say you've started a slow push here, it's big going into them. What are kind of the things that you want to be looking to do while your wave is big?
I actually don't know because if you go to ward, you sometimes miss XP.
Yeah, so no, it's within the lane.
To trade, you're looking to trade.
Yeah, so when the wave is pushing in and you have a minion advantage, it means your wave is stronger and you can look to trade there. I mean, as Irelia, it's kind of augmented in a way that, yeah, you can kill them no matter what. But as a general rule of thumb, if the wave is,
No matter what.
I mean,
If the minions are prepped.
yeah, but I mean, as in, like, there's always a window for you to kill them.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Because I don't really have cooldown on.
yeah, on Q, yeah. So if the wave is kind of pushing into them, then you want to look to kind of get trades off. If you get a good trade, if they do what I think actually I shouted at you to stand back. If say for example they are kind of trading back with you, we'll win that trade and then we'll force a huge minion wave in. But if the wave is coming back into you guaranteed, then what would we look to do?
It was just writing stuff down.
Okay, no problem. So yeah. So if the wave is coming back into us, it's pulling in. what do we look for?
Just sit back, try not to trade,
Okay, yeah,
just
exactly.
chill.
Just walk back. Like, if Lee Sin was to show on top lane right now, we could potentially, as it's coming back, trim it down, get a freeze, and then zone him off. But we don't know where Lee Sin is. Or, I mean, we do, but he hasn't showed up yet. So, right here, we just want to let this come back in fully. There's a cannon advantage. He's got 5 casters back here. We've only got 3 casters. So, there's no way that we'll. What? What's that, sorry?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Because I was watching Tyler the other day, and
Okay.
he does this thing when if he knows that the enemy jungler is sitting in the bush, he literally just sits and loses XP. He literally just sits at his turret.
Yeah,
Like, is
that's.
that ever a thing I need to do?
I mean, it's not as prevalent in mid lane. I presume you're talking about top.
Yeah, but like,
Because so
I feel
one
like
of
he needs to do that in mid.
well, one of the things is, especially when you're in a solo queue environment, like depending on who you play and determines what you do. Obviously, I mean that's a blanket statement, but so say for example, let's think of a scenario. So let's say we're playing top lane and the jungler starts bot. They're always going to path towards us. So as long as at that 3 minute mark or so we start playing more conserved, we start warding up. If the jungler then shows top lane, he's just given away all his pressure so far. Especially when you've got these level 4 junglers that their goal is to full clear, gank the lane that's closest to the end of their path. So one of the kind of big things in top lane is if you can not die and your jungler say focuses bot lane out, because if say you're playing jungle, there's 3 other people on the bottom half of the map. You've got your mid, your AD, your support. If we're talking statistic like or in terms of mathematical chances in solo queue, one of those players might be able to carry harder than what the top would if he was, say, 1v4. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, there are some exceptions, like this is a Jax this game. So Jax does have the potential to just 1v9. So, this Nidalee can potentially play to him because she also has set up with a Q. So this actually kind of okay for Nidalee, even though, because, I mean, it's hard to gank a Sivir Rakan anyway, like as the enemy jungler. So that lane is basically just safe, so the Lee Sin should be pathing towards top side. Lee Sin can't really path towards top here either. Like, he kind of got griefed in draft, to be completely honest, um, but yeah, either way, we're going on a tangent. Like, the basics is if it's pulling in, we want to just allow that to come in and then play safe. So what we'll see here is this is where originally your instincts, before we told you, was to walk up and potentially do things. Like, we can see one of your clicks is here right now. So you're actually planning on walking up. Whereas we're not going to lose anything if this comes back, and then we're safe from a gank, which actually
I
happens.
think I just click really wide.
Maybe, maybe. So when you're in these situations as well, you want to click short. So when you're, say, in a fight or you're moving away, your click should be closer to your champion so that you can make last minute like adjustments. Because right now, if say we click here and we just click, 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 this is really good because we can be in more control of our clicks. And also on top of that, wherever your face is looking is where you've clicked. So if, say, for example, they know to watch out for that, they're going to look, oh, where's his face looking? Okay, it's here, and it's been here for ages. So he's just clicked really wide, which you did, actually. So this Lee, if he played this well, would have been able to land his Q here, because he can see that your face has just clicked wide here, so you're walking back. So if he would have thrown his Q here instead, the chances of hitting would be higher based on the movement that you've put in, if that makes sense.
So, click closer to champion model when fighting.
Yeah, or when you're trying to escape or dodge things. Because if, say, you're clicking here as well, and he does throw it there, it's much closer for you to just move your mouse here and click there, right? Whereas if your mouse is here, you've got to then move it all the way back here to click there. So these things won't all of a sudden like change your gameplay massively, but they're good habits to get into. But yeah, like we knew where Lee Sin was. So even here, you walk up and take damage for no reason whatsoever.
It's definitely not bad.
Yeah, there's no reason to walk up here whatsoever. Like, this wave is coming back in. We know where the Lee is. We know he's around mid lane right now. So we're just going to let this wave crash. And then, if the Vladimir overstays, we could potentially kill him. We don't have E for 10 seconds anyway, so... So this is...
Kill them if
Yeah, we
you
reset Q for
want
some
to
reason.
better.
Yeah,
My W, yeah.
yeah,
I was trying to get the cannon and the minion.
yeah.
You see that
Yeah,
Then
so
it's
we burnt our Q there. Otherwise, we would have killed him there. Because we would have got 5 stacks, jump on him, we've got Ignite as well. Now, what do you think is really good for you, allowing the wave to come into here? Why is this a really good position to be in for you?
I have no idea.
If Vladimir wants safety right now, what is he
Oh,
going to do?
he can't get anything.
Yeah, like he's completely screwed. Like this is over for him because the amount of distance that he needs to kind of traverse back to his tower is huge. So
He has
this
no
is
flash.
this is exactly where you want the wave as Irelia, because this is guaranteed kill if you play it right.
Yeah, he has no flash as well, so I'm trying
Yeah.
to play like really aggressive.
So like here,
As soon as he loses pool, I just
yeah.
pull in him.
So it still happened and it still worked, but it was a bit late. Now another thing you want to do is you need to be more confident in your all-ins. Like, is there any world here where Vladimir survives?
No, I'm just waiting for his pull so I can position.
Okay, but what should you have done instantly?
I don't know. Do you want me to queue here?
What does Vladimir do? Well, what's he known for?
Pulling, running.
I mean, he's a healing champion, right?
Yeah.
What do you have for that?
Ignite. Yep.
Exactly. So if you're not
It's
taking,
taking too long. It's
yeah.
taking way too long.
So this is the thing. If you're gonna take Ignite now, I do think TP does kind of help you get a lot of kind of kills that you wouldn't usually get, but it's also an extra level of difficulty. Which I'm not gonna lie, you're also playing Aurelia, which is already a very difficult champion to play. So since you're playing Irelia, like you just want to look to just smash your lane every game, like that's your goal. And then once you smash your lane, you don't really need to know as much about the game later on, especially in these elos, because you're so fed that you can make mistakes and you won't really get punished if that makes sense. But in these
It's just
situations,
1v1 I'm carrying.
yeah, like right here, you know that there is no way he lives, like no way at all. He doesn't have flash, like once his pool's gone, that's it. So you just ignite him early. You just stop him healing because it's not just going to stop the healing from his kit. It's also going to stop the healing from say he pops a potion. That's going to get reduced as well. Like 60% reduction on potions. Like you may as well not press them.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's you're going to basically attack his resources more by and just be more confident in your all ins basically. Like you have to be to play this champion anyway. So right here, see, if we would have W'd and ignited earlier, we wouldn't have had to flash. Obviously, we still kill him, but yeah. Overall, we get the kill, but there was a lot that could be changed. So right here, your goal is to get this pushed out. Purely because you can go aggressive because you know where Lee is.
You see Leon turn there, so I
Yeah, you just
wanna
push it
get this.
instant, yeah.
This seems a bit greed, and high elo with his wouldn't have worked. I don't think.
I mean, no, this would be fine because we know where their support is, we know where their Lee Sin is. Who else is going to come stop you?
The top river, it's like a 10-second walk to mid lane.
Yeah, but I mean, if this Lee Sin decides to come for the kill on you instead of this huge wave, then that tells you that you're going to win the game. Now, when you put your ward here, just put it more kind of like in the middle, and just because then you'll get a little bit more vision on this side too. Like this one is going to get blocked by the wall here. So yeah, just put it here, big open area. This will also help you because you can come back into lane, it'll still be here, and then you can play towards this ward a little bit more. So yeah, so this is fine. Now we've got a Vampiric. So now this is a point where Vampiric is a very good spike on Aurelia, to be honest, like because it procs on our Qs. So this is the point where you really need to push your lead, which we do.
Annoy you when I tab just out when I'm stressed I just spam tab.
I mean, no, I mean, if anything, you should be pressing tab more. But like it's not a bad habit if you actually use it. So if you're pressing tab and you actually look for information, then it's fine. That's all right. So we killed him there. This is fine. And then this is how the lane goes now. Like, it's very hard for Vlad to really do much when you're in control of the wave here. But, again, we don't need to reset. We're not going to rotate. So we're going to roam.
We have 500 gold, that's
Yeah.
much useless.
I mean, I mean, a longsword, but I mean, it's not really going to change much. You can
a longsword here, because I'm building a support.
well, I mean, in general, like just the amount of gold you have. But yeah, so this gets a little bit greedy now, but So now what you want to do is he knows that you know that these camps are up from him, and you've got Nidalee waiting there. So just go and sit in the brush. Just catch it.
I'm
Like,
gonna hug the wall so make sure he doesn't see me if he
yeah,
comes fast.
yeah. So it's fine, and then, easy kill. There's a nice E. Okay, easy. So it's like I said, when they pick these scaling mid laners, which honestly, lately are kind of popular, things like the Kassadin, the Corki, the Vladimir, stuff like that, they're gonna scale.
Those are my games.
I mean, yeah, but they're playing towards, okay, I'm just gonna not int my lane, and I'm gonna be a big scaler later on into the game. But if you can just shut them out before they can do that, then you don't just punish them, but you also punish their jungle. And that's one of the most important things to mid lane is if you get ahead and you get that initial lead, you have the kind of ability to pressure everybody on the map at once. Purely because even it says you get fed. So say even in a higher elo, you get fed, you push a wave in, you go sit in this brush, and they've got awards. You'll actually see bot lane backing off instantly, without you even leaving mid lane. But I mean, obviously that's a bit of a tangent. But
It's quite like different to top lane where you wanna say. I remember when I was playing against that Jax, you told me to just hammer down on him
yeah,
because I don't want him to be able to do anything
yeah,
for a long
because
time.
slightly weaker early. So yeah, you have the ability, especially with Irelia, if you use your Qs properly to get it out of his E, then even if he Qs on top of you after that, you can still use your Q to get to another minion, avoid the stun, and then just kill him. So yeah, kind of same scenario. But yeah, so here we kind of messed up a little bit. We're never gonna kill this. I mean, he's too close to his tower, and he's 75 HP. So what should you have looked to do here? So after this.
A wave.
Yeah, exactly. So what you could have done is you could have then just come back in time and froze this wave. So this wave right now is here. You could just come back, freeze it. He can't do anything in lane again. He's level 5. But we tried to get a kill now. And this is one of the things you also need to take into consideration. We're trying to get a short-term kill, which is kind of bad because... So even if we talk about it more kind of... Say, for example, if this Lee Sin wasn't feeding and this wave is getting big, we get a big wave, we kill the Vlad, we push it into their tower. Lee Sin is just going to soak that wave, and then he's going to get so ahead of your jungler, it's unreal. So this short-term kill is not good. We want to keep him here as long as possible until we can kill him, crash a wave, and get a significant reset.
Apply this to other games.
Yeah. Now, we don't really have the ability because of bot lane right now to go to Dragon. So there's no reason in this moment to not freeze this wave. Because we don't need the prio, we need the pressure. Which they can interchange, so they can sort of be best of both. They can do the same thing, but you can have more pressure on him by keeping him away from the minions permanently than, getting that objective there. That's not really going to stop the Vladimir scaling, but keeping him away from XP is. So it's like XP is your biggest kind of thing here. So we did also fully stack here.
As Sanchovi said once, am I ever gonna be my jungler's bitch?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, Sanchovi is very talented, and he does a lot of things for content. Most of the time when you're playing mid, you're not being your jungler's bitch. You're walking with your jungler to invade them and get free kills, if that makes sense. You do want to play for jungle whenever it's good to, but in this game, it's probably not. I mean, Nidalee hasn't done anything this game that's made us go, wow, that's insane. She's also playing Nidalee in gold. So, in this game, we wouldn't really play towards our jungler. Yeah, we wouldn't play towards our jungler unless it benefits us. Now, if it benefits us, then you go ahead. If you're not going to lose anything, then sure.
So if there's 5 squishies and a hyper carry Echo Smurf in my jungle, then I'm just gonna funnel every single bit of gold into him.
Not really, because Echo also relies on people around him to do damage. So you'd still want as much damage as possible for yourself. But if, say, for example, you push mid in, you've got nothing else to do, and he wants to go and invade on their red buff, of course you'd go. You'd be silly not to. So you never want to put yourself behind for your jungler, but if it's good for both of you, then of course you go for it. And then here, I think we could have potentially just... Actually, no, this wasn't the point. There was a point where we could have just killed, but
To queue the minion.
actually, yeah, you mess up your. I think it was here. You mess up your Q, right?
Yeah.
Like you could have just killed him here.
It's because he was standing like right on top of the minion. I connected on his feet.
Yeah. So this was bad because that was a kill opportunity. But now we're not going to dive him just because it's risky. We don't know where Lee is. So right here, what should we be thinking? Like we're gonna get this plate, and then yeah, we could reset. Or what else could we be thinking?
Blue's coming up, so I can just cheat.
Yeah, you could have gone blue purely because your bot has permanent prior. So you basically you have to kind of look at it through a jungler's eyes at some points too, because this Vlad can't move. I mean, there's there's not a massive wave here, but he is going to lose a lot, and he's already stabbed, so he needs everything he can get. So what you could actually do here is just move, and even if you just get this blue buff, that's great. That's good for you. And then you just escape through bot. And then just reset, and this wave will come back into you, and then you can look to freeze it again. Now, one of the things why I like Irelia Mid is so good is because I know we've gone on about it before, maybe, but it takes the minions 22 seconds to reach this point in the lane. So the halfway point is 22 seconds. Yeah, so because they come out every 30 seconds, we have 8 seconds where we can kind of rotate. We can go and get wards in his jungle. We can take his camps. We can have a 1v1 with him. He's level 5 as well. He can't do anything against us. So this kind of one of the big points as a mid laner, where you can just kind of take over the game, because you can clear these waves almost instantly. So then you've got, like 6 seconds to go and do something before the wave even gets to the middle. And if it's a cannon wave, it's going to take a while for that to actually go down anyway. So we can just go crazy.
And then if I push a cannon wave and it slow pushes back into me, I can freeze that.
Yeah. Like if you also push a cannon wave in, you also get bonus damage to the tower as well. Like the cannons give you less gold in mid lane until I think it's 14 minutes, but they do 30% additional damage. They get 30% attack speed buff on mid towers only.
Do you like what they did to cannons? They made them less valuable.
No, because they didn't make them less valuable. They shut out roam timers a little harder. So they punished assassins and champions that want to look to roam around the map. Because if, say, for example, let's say we've got a Galio mid, and he goes and ults bot lane when there's a cannon coming in, he's gonna get, like, the enemy mid is it's gonna be much easier for them to get 2 plates. So unless that Galio gets 1, if not 2 kills, then it's not worth the amount he loses in his lane.
It's more of a lane kingdom playstyle.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you can still roam, you can still rotate. Like, it's still very good to do. Don't get me wrong. It's still probably the more optimal thing for solo queue, purely because if you can, stop your laners from completely griefing, and you can use your lead like on your side lanes too, then that's really good for you.
Am I ever playing towards top side?
I mean, sometimes, like, it depends. If top is free to go to, then sure, go to it. Or if, say, for example, your mid has just started rotating bot lane, but you can't rotate in time, then what you can do is you can push the wave in and rotate top instead, and see if you can get a numbers advantage there, and potentially bring it back. So sometimes there's some matchups where you want to play away from where your laner wants to. So here as well, like I said, just ignite him. Like, you live without igniting him, but there's no reason not to. So ignite him before he pulls there, ult go on him, and then you don't take this much damage from the tower. Which means then, what would you be free to just do?
Just roam again?
Yeah, roam again. Like, you wouldn't have taken as much damage, you would have pushed a wave in anyway and healed off it. And you could have been walking towards this bot lane right now.
It doesn't matter, I kill them anyway. It's more of a... I'm trying to preserve my health as much as possible, so I can impacts everywhere else.
You're trying to save as much time as you can and be as efficient as possible in what you're doing.
I already thought I was quite efficient.
Yeah. I mean, there's always more. Like, there's always more.
Yeah.
Like, even here, like, you could literally just go down, sit in this brush, and recall there. Like, you walk like really far back, and then you're out in the open. Now, Lee Sin is around that side, but
I think I tanked an active power shot because I didn't think you would walk through the barrier.
oh. But either way. So again, this wave is in a little bit of a mess, but we just kill. I mean, well, we burnt his pool. So here we can just look to go on him. And then this is where you just kill him again. So now this is how the lane goes. But again, now we've killed him. Our laner is out of the question. And now we look to rotate or roam or, go and do something else. Like right here, like, yeah, okay, we've got the plates, great. Like, we just go and take his bot side too.
My camera control fine.
I mean, no, you're like locking way too much, but it's not terrible. It'll do for now.
No, it's like when I'm mid fight, I unlock.
So I mean, it's fine. You're not really doing anything, but you should be looking over the lanes more. So right here, we knew that this bot lane was pushing in, but we didn't even look over it.
Okay.
So right here, we didn't even see that this was dive opportunity.
My binds.
Oh, yeah, F keys, yeah.
F keys.
Yeah.
I don't have F keys.
Oh well, yeah.
50%.
Yeah.
I
So
refund it to ASDF.
yeah. So whatever you do use, because right here we didn't even look over this. This took me telling you can dive bot here, and then you did. Plus you've got a Rakan as well. It's just easy engage. And then yeah. So then here, like we could have also like this is the point now. We get this wave, but we do have to be a little bit careful because he is pushing mid in. So this is a point where you just have to reset, and then Nidalee will catch it, but we get a big spike, and now we can come back into the lane, and then potentially look to invade his top side, or actually do something there, Okay, so this was, again, yeah. So, if I hadn't have told you to go for this play, would you have gone for it?
Because there's 2 people lined up.
Oh, so you would have. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll trust you.
I think I didn't need to queue all 3. I could have just queued the.
I mean,
could have
there's
the middle one.
there's no harm in it. You clear them instantly anyway. Like, I think you would have still needed to flash there for it. But I mean, flash for 2 kills.
I had to flash because.
Yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't have got Lee.
Blood pools.
Yeah.
I'm flashing the Lee, not the blood.
Yeah. And then here again, we push this in. Like, there's no reason to take the tower yet. One of the things you do need to look at here, I don't know why it's so small here, but look at what the plates are on the other lanes. If they're, say, getting quite low, then you can just kill the tower off and get the first blood gold for yourself and then snowball off it. But if they're not low, I don't know what they are here. You have them tiny. But if they're not low, then you don't need to take the tower. Like, because not only do you have to push further to get prio, well, I mean, you don't, but I mean, you should. You also give them a way to farm quite easily because they're close to this tower too. Now, this little area is really, really dangerous for you because obviously there's 2 towers that can hit you almost at the same time, based on where you are. So yeah, that overall is an area you want to avoid. But like I said, you wanna look for rotations. So right here, we didn't look at bot either to see.
He was already running there. I don't
Yeah.
think I could have fought him.
That's fine. Maybe if we went earlier, who knows? But
So
yeah.
Rakan would have engaged if he had stuff up.
Yeah, but either way, you actually showing there is really good because like you're getting a mental edge as well, right? Because they're like, oh, okay, this mid lane has just come and interrupted us in our laning phase. What is our mid laner doing? They press tab, they see that their lane is 0 and 9 or whatever he is, and all of a sudden, you get a bit of a mental advantage. And then, yep, and then again, like we're just coming.
Can you replay the E, please?
Yeah.
I feel like that was bad.
I mean, it was a little wide, but
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you got in, so.
Because if I position better, so if I position higher, then I E, like you're right behind them, and I E on top of myself.
Yeah.
And it comes out really fast, and E can't touch it.
Yeah. I mean, there is an example of you using your ear bit scuff later on, which we will cover. But
The one where
yeah, it was one in base. It was in the base. Yeah.
the one in base when I stunned the Ornn. And
Yeah, I think so. We'll go over it.
is this the Ornn game or was it the other?
No, this is Scion game. So we'll see.
I remember, I stunned the Ornn in a release.
Yeah.
It was really wide.
But again, we take these camps. We look for bot dive.
And they've got it pinged.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter too much though.
The E was a bit troll.
Yeah,
Should have just
yeah,
gone
we
to
we
the
yeah we messed up the E. Now, one of the things you also want to do with your E is if you want to target one person, and because the Ezreal's already dead here, right? So what you actually want to do is drop your E kind of where they're going to run to. So
control that.
right here, yeah, yeah. So right here, you want to walk down, but what you can do is you can say this was fine. I think you place it where here. So this is okay for an original E because now she can't walk here. So now she's got to walk like this, which then means that your other E is either going to hit her and stun her, or it's going to force her back where they can do more damage, if that makes sense. Like, you're basically forcing her to walk a certain way. So let's actually see what happened with your E. So yeah, so here, like, it's way too easy for her to dodge. Because it's like,
I put that E for the first E where the second E was to zone her.
yeah. So, yeah, yeah. So that would have been fine. So what you could have also done is you could have just put one here, and then one here as well. And then, like, she wouldn't have been able to walk like this, right? You basically make a wall like this. Or, I mean, not this far, but you know what I mean. You basically make a wall that she can't walk there. And then you just jump on top of her. Like, you don't... Like, you've already got full stacks, you know? Because we just got them on Grump. So,
Can I
you...
give you a fun fact
What?
on Irelia E? So you can see it really well on this frame.
Uh-huh.
Can you draw a line from the top right corner of the E to the bottom left? No, to the
Here.
very bottom. No, yeah, from there to
Yeah.
the bottom corner of the little box that you've got. So you see the edges, yeah.
Okay. These edges.
So, no. Like you see the box that the E's made. See
Okay.
animation.
Yeah. This, yeah.
The top corner to the bottom corner. It's like tilted.
Yeah.
So no, you see at the bottom. There's another one you can draw on the very edge.
Okay.
Get there. Top right. It's from that top corner. Yeah.
Here to here.
There. Yeah, that's what the hitbox is like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's the entire animation. Like, it's like a big tether. But yeah, so if we just use it like that, she's forced to walk up as well, and we can, we can get it. I mean, it would have been better to land E on her, but at least then, if we land the E, it's beneficial. If we don't land the E, we still kill her anyway.
I should have used W to take the kill.
Yeah, I mean, you should just take it. I don't know why you didn't take it here. Like, you're the carry, you know? Like, you're the one that, you just want to get more gold. Because the thing is here as well, is, I mean, it's a little more scuffed, but if, say, for example, you start snowballing, you're going to do a massive amount of damage, but then if they want to stop your snowball, then they need to build armor. So then other people on your team are going to do more damage to them because they're having to build armor to get resistances against you, if that makes sense. So it's like, the more fed you get, the more damage your team technically kind of do, in a way.
It's bad this game because we're 3 AD.
I mean, Jax does have quite a decent amount of magic damage, and Nidalee will do as well.
Rakan.
Yeah. I mean, Rakan's is negligible.
Yeah, and then I have passive
Yeah.
and Borg.
I mean, a little bit. But...
I've seen Yone's damage split is like 30-30.
Yeah.
It's like 35-30.
Yeah, he does a lot, to be fair. Right, so yeah. So this is fine now. We get a reset off. So we should have looked to get the reset off a bit sooner, just because it's a cannon. So again, we're wasting time, right? Because we just want to lead this wave in. We don't need to hit the tower. Like we're not really gonna... I mean, do we get it? No, we're not going to get it. We don't have the minion wave to take it, and we don't have a cannon to take it either. So there's no point walking up to this. Just get an earlier reset off, because I think this next wave is cannon. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Are we paying attention to which wave is cannon or not?
I mean, it depends. It's whatever you prefer. I know people that just memorize by the time. Oh no, this one isn't the cannon. This next one. I know people that memorize by the time, or just count threes. The cannon wave is always a third wave until later on into the game.
Isn't it second wave after 20 minutes?
25 minutes, it becomes double cannon, I think.
What do you mean?
The waves become worth 195 gold on average at level at 25 minutes.
Okay. And when do they start being cannon every wave?
I think it's 25 minutes. Let me just clarify. It could be... No, the breakpoints are... The breakpoints are, I think, 15 minutes. Then there's one at, or I think it's something like 14, 15, 17, 25. Let me have a look. So no, sorry, 15 and 17, 15. But that one's kind of like the same. It's 147 to 150 gold. So 3 more gold at 17 minutes 15, and then at 25 minutes it's 195 on average because of the extra siege. Um, do, 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 do. So siege minions. No, 15 minutes. One spawns every 2 minion waves. And then at 25 minutes, there's one every single wave. So that's why it goes up significantly at 25 minutes. But yeah, so here, this is kind of another thing with your camera control. Like, you look over it slightly, but then when you're actually running into the area, you're looking at yourself. So you know where you are, you've got a mini-map.
Using champion camera controls instead of...
I mean, that too, or you can just have the camera over this area ready. Like,
Yeah.
and then you know where you're coming in from. Like, as long as you look at your minimap before you go in for it, then fine. So right here, see, we like barely see anything. And then we completely butcher an E. And yeah. So another thing that you can do as well is with your E's, you can also say, throw it back. And then, so you can kind of mark them, like throw your E back and then jump on them and then use another E up here with your ult.
I kill center as well.
Huh?
If I have E, I kill center as well.
Yeah. But if you're going to use your ult, you already get a mark, so then you can use your E as like a follow-up after your ult, if that makes sense. Like once you're already on top of them, because it's much easier to land.
Can we do that back, the fight back?
What, the fight here?
Yeah, how could I have done that better?
So here, you just shouldn't have used your E initially. You just shouldn't have used E there. Like, just hold it. And then like here.
Hold E unless it's guaranteed.
Yeah. Like, it's better to... Because the thing is, now they know that, oh, you don't have an E. So the sentry can keep running, whereas you would have killed her. Now, on top of this, like, so you've just ulted him. So what you can also do is you can throw an E down, Q on top of him, and then say throw another E up here. And it'll be really long, but you'll potentially get them both, if that makes sense.
I think it takes longer the further the E's are.
Yeah, but I mean, it won't really matter too much. So, and then this is where we just clean up. Obviously, we're so fed, and that doesn't really matter. So what we could have done is we could have also marked this to Q on top of it, so that we get another Q to Q on top of her, and then we just kill her.
Isn't E range longer than my Q range?
What do you mean, sorry?
I'm not sure about that one. So, do you think it's faster to just... wait, I don't know how to say it. So, is E-ing the Grom to get the Q reset more beneficial than Q-ing the Grom but then getting the E?
Yeah, I mean, the E is much harder to land, and she will die in literally, like, a couple of autos. So she is...
She doesn't Q auto though, except
yeah,
for...
so she's got, what, 400 HP right now? So, I mean, you've got 232 AD. I mean, you've already got 232 AD.
Yeah, I have 5 stacks, so that actually 1 Q should kill her.
Yeah. So it's like try and extend your Q as much as you can. Like, your Q is easier to land than your E. And then you would have got another Q up and you would have killed her.
I think I could have killed her if I started my E in the middle of my Q.
So
if I reacted fast.
Maybe, but she was also walking into a cloud rift. Or a cloud dragon section of the jungle. So it would have been very hard to land anyway.
The thing I hate about Reddit is like it's really hard to catch people if there's no nothing to queue because you're so slow.
A little bit, but so yeah. So here, this fine.
Do you think I could have gone for that?
I don't think it's worth the risk. Like, what's the point of risking? Like, Vladimir was coming behind.
Okay.
Yeah, like Vlad was coming behind. There's camps to take. You're ridiculously fed. You could look for a back anyway. There's a red buff coming up. Like, yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, there's no point. So right here, there's another point where you should have looked elsewhere on the map. So like top lane here, you should have looked. Just see what's happening, because you could have just gone top. There's nobody revealed yet in mid, but there's a big fight on top which you could probably win, especially considering there's a Lisa in there who's very squishy.
My mid lane better than my top lane?
I mean, it depends. Like,
equally bad.
I mean, the only time that I ever see you play mid lane is through coaching, so it's it's hard to say.
Unless we flex Uru.
Oh yeah, true. Uh, right. So here, again, like you're planning on using your ult anyway, so just save your E.
Yeah, I don't know why I just don't like committing my ults.
Yeah, just do it. Like if you know you're gonna kill, like when you're this fed, there's no reason not to.
Did I play this fight well?
I mean, this was okay. Yeah.
The I feel like I could have stepped further to the right and dodged the cyan thing.
I mean, the thing is, like, so here, like, if you would have actually, you did ignite him, really. I mean, to be honest, the initial play was kind of bad. Like here, not just committing to them both here was bad because if you ult them here, you get them both, which means easy stacks. Plus, we wasted E again. Like, we're using E way too much as kind of like a pick tool, whereas when we've got ult, we want to use it as kind of a bit of follow up.
So I should be using ult more to engage.
Yeah, use your ult to get your marks, and then you can chain your E off your ult.
And then ult stacks up really fast.
Yeah, because the thing is as well, if they try and walk out of your ult, they get slowed so hard that your E is almost guaranteed.
And then it does a bunch of damage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
It's like you die or you die faster.
yeah. Like they just always die, and this is why Irelia is so busted. She's so like she's difficult to play, but if you can play her, she's so good.
You busted in low elo.
Yeah, and then here, like this is the one of the most important things that you can do in these elos, and I swear, like you've just pushed mid in, you've just got this tower, sorry, you've just pressured this tower. There's another wave coming in right now. Get their jungle camps. Like the only way they're gonna bring back gold and kind of get back into the game is either to get big shutdowns, to get something like an objective, which they can never really do here, or to funnel their jungle camps into their carries. But if you've already taken the jungle camps, it's more gold for you, and you take them instantly anyway at this point of the game.
Do you think the whole of Irelia mains is just delusional? So
About
they always say that Irelia is super weak.
so the problem is it's not that they're delusional. Like
It's not, yeah.
I think when people are not in a game, like I think there's a lot of delusion that goes on inside of games, from everyone. Like it's hard to track all the information at once. But when people kind of take that outside of the game and they argue a point that a champ is very weak, like the reason why Aurelia seems weak to a lot of those players is because they're in low elo, and she's a very difficult champion to play. Now, if you play her in say top lane, like there are a lot, like even mid, like there's a lot that can counter her, so she can get countered fairly easily, but a lot of the champions that counter her are also very hard champions. So it's like,
Like if my Irelia gets picked, I just insta lock Fiora and
yeah,
their
yeah.
ability.
Fiora's one of the known ones that kind of ruins her life.
It's like you can't hit E on her because she just
Yeah.
use out. You can't use ult because you just get parried.
Yeah,
And you get
yeah,
knocked out.
it's kind of crazy. But yeah, here like you can afford 2 items, so this is good. I don't know if you were tracking your gold here, like to know that you could get these 2 items. This is one of the reasons that I said we needed to go and clear out the camps because it gave you exactly enough gold.
I've been going Rage Blade after my first two.
I mean, Rage Blade's fine. Like it's,
I feel like I'm too squishy with it.
I mean, you've got
Or is
tons
it,
of healing.
or is
Like,
it just because I'm bad?
I mean, maybe a mix of both. I mean, you've got tons of healing though. Like you, in this game, you can just go straight damage. Who is gonna stop you?
Like, but if I'm like 3-3, am I going Rage Blade or am I going something like Titanic?
I mean, Titanic's kind of meh, but yeah, I mean, you could look to just go other items, like more defensive items.
I
Um,
think Titanic isn't actually that bad after Rage Blade because it procs extra.
yeah, but the thing is, Rage Blade already gives you a massive amount. Like, I mean, you could. I think in this situation, your next item here should have been a GA. Purely because GA is an item that you can only really go when you're snowballing, because you go it to kind of preserve your gold lead. Like,
Zonia's.
huh?
Can I ever go Zonia's?
No, no.
Because if I have AP scalings, then it's reusable.
No. You don't really.
It was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, nah. Like the only thing you could look to go here, like you could go like GA. GA is only really a snowball item, so you wouldn't really go it when you're behind. But when you're this far ahead, you've got 1,000 gold shutdown right now. You can take it. Like, it's good.
And do I need to look at enemy team comp to check if I need to, if I get GA or not?
I mean,
Say
not
I'm
really. I mean, GA
like
is...
if there's a Fed Scion and
Then, I mean, you can maybe go some pen, maybe.
no, because yeah, because if there's a Fed Scion, then I just get insta one shot after my GA.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, it's if you're very ahead and you're not just going to GA and then die instantly, then you can take it to preserve your gold lead. Like, denying them 1,000 gold, especially on Irelia, right? It's going to be hard enough for them to kill you once. Never mind again. Like, you know?
Latrox.
Yeah, plus, I mean, you also get stopwatch as well, which gives you a lot of value. Here, just hit the inhib. Like, there's no point going this aggressive. You've got no ult. Like, you just want the inhib. I mean, ult is coming up, but they're not really going to be in an optimal position. You could have potentially gone for that fight, but I mean, it's just too risky. Yeah, it's high variance and very low reward. I mean, you could potentially win the game, but you're already in the winning seat. Like, this game is already won. It has been since you got fed.
It's all about closing the game out.
Yeah, it's about just not panicking and just closing it out in a way that's not gonna kind of screw you. Now, this was the E that I actually mentioned. So right here, like, we know we're gonna dive. Like, we've got Herald. Like, we know we're gonna jump on them. Like, there's no world where we wouldn't. They've just completely disrespected the fact that there's a Herald here. Just instantly ult, pop your E down, Q on top of probably the Vlad, and then just use your second E. Like, you're guaranteed to hit. And whereas right here, like, what's this ever going to hit? Like, half of that E was in an area that they were nowhere near, you know? So that was the E that you did. So, yeah, so just don't waste your E. Like, if you don't need to. If you're not going to get it. Now, one of the things you can also do in lane as well is you can use your E kind of and put it down, and then as they're about to hit a cannon, then you E them. Because you know that their attack range allows you to get an E on them, if that makes sense. So yeah, here this was just kind of, we left it too late, and then when we did go, we were in kick range. But we didn't have an E either to stun him so that he couldn't kick us. You know? So yeah, we got shut down. It didn't matter, that was still game anyway. But yeah, so I think in general, like, we just need to make it so that you're getting ahead in more games. Because obviously once you're ahead, you're winning. Now, Irelia is a very hard snowball champion. As long as you're doing these right things when she's ahead, or when you're ahead as her, and you're actually, say, clearing out the enemy jungle, actually looking to rotate and get pressure on the map, stuff like that, like, then you'll start snowballing more. And this is the reason why Irelia Mid is, in my opinion, probably better in solo queue, because yes, it is difficult, and it's more intensive because the champions you're against are a little harder, but they're also less likely to build resistances, especially in this elo, which then allows you to snowball harder. Or the resistances that they can buy are kind of bad. So if say you're playing Irelia into a mage, Seeker's got nerfed so hard. Like, so hard. To the point now that you can't just rush a Seekers and then play on it. You'd have to rush the full Zonyas to get a massive amount out of it, which isn't too good.
I think you can go with Bramble, a really hard counter item.
Who's going to build Bramble in mid lane?
Talon.
I mean, yeah, but then you're nullifying his damage.
He's already got so much damage that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you'll outscale him.
Gwen can go Bramble.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't think Gwen's a good mid laner. Like, so I mean, overall, the item pool is much more restricted in mid lane. So you can A, get more kills, and B, roam more. Which roaming is the thing that you're looking for because you have so much wave clear. Like, Irelia is one of the few kind of like AD mids that has insane wave clear. But yeah, so I mean, so overall, I think just focus on kind of the stuff that we went through in laning phase. I'll stop the recording now and upload it to YouTube. But did you have any other kind of like questions before we wrap up, or?
Not especially. Thanks a lot for doing this.
No worries at all. No,
You
it's
spent
fine.
2 hours on me.
It's fine, don't worry. So yeah, so just see how that goes, and yeah, if you need anything, just give me a message.
Yeah. Thanks
Right.
a lot, man.
No worries, my dude.
Really.
Yeah, good luck, and yeah, yeah. I mean, good luck on getting plat. Like, I think you definitely can get there. You just have to not tilt and, just do the things that we've covered.
Thank you.
So, catch you in a bit. Bye bye bye.
Right.